All right. Welcome to Skool News, March 18th, 2025. Now let's cover some new features that have shipped recently, starting with the onboarding feature. So, a lot of people want to create onboarding videos or a welcome start here post or things like that so that new members in their community know how and how to get the most out of the community, right? Having a good onboarding can increase engagement and decrease churn, which are things that we want. And so we tried to make it as easy as possible for you to onboard your members. And so we've released this new feature, and I will show you what it looks like. This is when a member joins a group now, they will see this at the top, right? So if you join a new group as a member, you'll see this. It says, welcome, start here. And the first thing is watch a 60-second intro video, and then find a post you like and leave a comment, and then download the app, right? And I'll show you very quickly what this intro video looks like.
This is the Community tab, where you'll see posts and comments. Here's the Classroom, where you'll find courses. Here's the Calendar, where you'll find calls or events. You can attend live or add them to your calendar. And here's a map where you can see where everybody is. This is great for making friends. To keep up with the community, there's posts. You can open them like this, you can like them, leave a comment, and you can click this bell to get notified when there's new activity. You can view people's profiles like this and follow them to be notified when they post. You can message them privately like this. You can access your settings here to change your profile or notification preferences. Complete the onboarding here by commenting on a post and downloading the app. Welcome to the community. Have fun.
So you can see it ticks that off, right? And, we tried to, in 60 seconds, show someone like the core features of Skool, right? Like, what are the tabs? What can you do on them? DMing people, right? All the basics. Now, you can customize this video. You can change it to be something else if you want. By default, we give you one that works pretty well. But if you want to change it, you just go to your settings, you go to plugins, onboarding video here, and you can add your own video. We recommend to keep it short, but you can put, the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy in if you want, if you think that will help with engagement. So the other thing we do, which is pretty cool if you use the default video, is it adapts to the user's device. So, if I'm on mobile, right, and I go to view this, it will do this.
This is the Community tab, where you'll see posts and comments. Here's the Classroom, where you'll find courses.
Don't worry, we don't need to watch the whole thing again. But it's the same video, but it's adapted to the mobile UI, so that if someone's on their mobile device, they want to see like how to navigate that. And if someone's on desktop, they want to see how to do that. So that's a cool thing you can do with the default video. The second one is to just find a post you like and leave a comment. And when they click this, you can see it wobbles down here. So it's like telling you, oh, go down here, find a post you like, leave a comment. And this one will tick when somebody, actually leaves a comment. So, right, bam, it ticks it off, right? And then the third one is download app. And this one's pretty cool because if they're on desktop, it shows them a QR code. And if, depending on what device they take a photo of it with, on Android, it will open the Android app store. On desktop, it'll open, on iOS, it'll open the iOS app store, right? So it adapts. And on mobile, obviously, it doesn't show a QR code. It just goes directly to that the right app store. So it's all dynamic. It can adapt to the device someone's on, whether it's desktop or mobile, or whether it's Android or iOS. And it will tick when somebody logs into the app, but there's also a way to skip it in case it gets, in case someone really doesn't want the app, right? Now, after 7 days, we display the dismiss button anyway, because someone might not want to do this, but they don't want this cluttering up their feed. And after 30 days, this disappears completely, right? So that if someone doesn't complete this, this isn't going to like pollute and clutter up everyone's Skool interface across the platform. So that's why you won't see it for groups that you're currently in. It'll only show for new groups that you join. And so that's the basic logic for the onboarding feature, right? And I'll give you a little insight into why we chose to do it this way. So, it's amazing. I think most people actually understand intuitively how Skool works pretty much right away, right? But there is a small group of people who don't understand it. And it's amazing that like, it's so basic, the things they miss. They're like, oh, I didn't know there was a classroom tab, right? Oh, I didn't know there was a course in here. Or, oh, I didn't know I could send someone a DM. Or I didn't know that you had to click on a post to open it. Like, these things seem ridiculous, but there is the type of person who will probably watch that video and appreciate it will be that person. So it kind of satisfies that. Yeah, so I think this is definitely helpful. And then why find a post you like and leave a comment? Like, why get people to do that? Well, we did like analysis on long-term retention. And so M12 is month 12. So like we looked at users that retain at month 12, what actions have they taken early in their experience that most highly correlate with that? And liking a piece of content, whether that's a comment or a post, and commenting are actually the strongest signals of M12 retention, right? Stronger than posting. Posting isn't even that important. Commenting and liking is much more important. And yeah, that's the strongest signal. So we want people to do that, obviously, right? Because that means that they're going to stick around longer. And the second highest signal is downloading the app, not just downloading it, but logging in, obviously. And that's 6 times on average higher retention at month 12, right? And so if we show people the basics of the app in 60 seconds, get them to like and comment on something and download the app, it should improve everyone's engagement and retention. And it just does that for you automatically without you having to do anything, right? Which is pretty cool. And now you can get rid of that annoying, like, welcome, start here post. What I've found is when you create a new community, you create this like welcome, start here post, you pin it at the top, and it's cool for a little bit. But after like a few months, you really start to hate that post because it takes up like valuable real estate on the screen. You only have 2 other options for pinning posts. And most of the community has already seen it and is really tired of it by now. So you can get rid of that one and not have like a welcome start here post. You can just have the onboarding widget basically. And if you need to tell people specific things, you can do it in a custom video. So that's the new onboarding feature. It's live for everyone right now. It's just on by default, and if you want to customize the video, you go to plugins, onboarding video, and you can change it here, right? So we'll see how that one goes. Then 10K price limit. So we did a poll last week. We said, let me go back to this. Whoops. We said, should we increase price limits? And, it was basically 10 to 1 said yes. So then we increased the price limits. And so now for one-time course purchases, lifetime memberships, monthly memberships, and annual memberships, all 4 things, now the max price is $10,000, right? Which is pretty cool. So that's done, which I'm sure people will appreciate. And then towards the end of last week, we released this pinned comments feature. So, now you can, if there's a really great comment on a post, you can go like this, and then you can click pin comment, and it will pin it to the top like this. And you can only pin 1 comment per thread. And this is just a really useful way to surface quality. So if someone asks a question and then there's all of these different answers, but somewhere in there, there's just this gem of an answer and it's kind of buried and you want to bring it to the surface, this is a great way to do that. And then we're going to ship this one like today, tomorrow, but I figured I'd tell you about it anyway. It's part of the pinned comments feature. We also are going to notify people when they get pinned, right? So let me show you what that will look like. So if an admin pins your post or they pin your comment, you'll get this notification saying your comment was pinned or your post was pinned, right? And you'll also get this thing up here. It's similar to when you reach a new level or you unlock something, right? And they will also get an email. So it'll send a specific email saying, congrats, your post was pinned, or congrats, your comment was pinned. And we've heard from people that, the experience of getting pinned is like a really good one. It makes someone feel really special. And so we want to emphasize that, really. We want to make sure they're aware that they got pinned, and we want to make them feel really special about it because it's a good experience. And if you reward the right things, people will do more of it, right? So the person who gets pinned is more likely to do more of that thing that got them pinned. And then when other people see them getting pinned, they'll probably be like, oh, I want to get pinned too, so I will do that. And so it's kind of like what I said here, the carrot and the stick in a way, right? So it's a carrot. If you do the right things, you get pinned. And also when you get pinned, you naturally get more likes, obviously, because you're at the top. And more likes means more points, which means you go up levels, things like that. And yeah, I think it's good to reward and reinforce the good behavior. And it's similar in a way to if you delete someone's content, like a post or a comment, you can select the reason and it will give them feedback. It says, don't do this, right? That's like the stick. That's telling people why their post got deleted so they can improve. But if someone does something good, there's the pin experience. And so I think, this will be a really powerful feature. Then affiliates on-off toggle for courses. So this one's pretty funny. We shipped the affiliates feature a few weeks ago and we excluded courses. And then everyone was like, no, give us affiliates for courses. So then I gave them affiliates for courses and they're like, wait, what? Only sometimes. So now we've given you an on-off toggle for affiliates commissions on courses. I'll show you what that looks like. If I go to this group, I go to make a course. So if I select buy now, you can see it has this toggle, right? Now it just uses the membership affiliate commission rate. Some people ask, they're like, oh, I also want to set the commissions, but no, too crazy. Just keep it simple for people. It's hard enough for them to remember that there is affiliate commissions and that it is 30 or 40%. If it's on and off and sometimes 10 and sometimes 20, I mean, people just won't understand. So do yourself a favor. Well, I guess you don't have an option. So you'll have to. You'll have to do yourself a favor. And that's that feature. Now, $100 to change your URL, not the first time, but subsequent times. So previously on Skool, you know, if you can set a custom URL, right? And people love that feature. They want to have a nice URL. But if they change their mind later on, or their brand changes or whatever, you used to not be able to change it, which sucked, because you're like forever stuck with the same URL, which is pretty bad, honestly. But at the same time, we really don't want people changing URLs all the time, because we have to redirect all of these crazy things, like all the notifications, all the emails, like all of these different things. And it's not good if people are just like being crazy about it and changing their URL all the damn time. So it stings a little bit to do it for $100, but it's so much better than not being able to change it at all, right? So now you can change your URL. You're not stuck forever with the one that you choose. But I want to make it clear that the first time you go to change your URL, it's free, right? Now, we saw this. If you haven't seen this post that we pinned in Schoolers, it's pretty good. This one here from Laura. We wanted to highlight it today. Like, Laura won the Skool games last year. She's got a very good community. But the main thing I wanted to highlight was this churn, which is insane. You know, some people wonder, like, how good can your churn be? Well, this is about as good as it gets. So congrats, Laura. And for everyone wondering, like, is it possible to get churn low? Yes. I would say this is insanely low. I would say if your churn is below 10%, you're doing really good. If it's below 20%, well, the average platform-wide is about 18. So if you're above 18, then there's some things you need to tweak. But if you're in between 10 and 18, you're doing pretty good. And if you're below 10, you're doing really good. If you're above 20, there's some things you need to tweak for sure. But I will say I have seen people with 30% churn that get it down to 10. So if you've got 30% churn, it doesn't mean you're screwed forever. There is hope, and it's possible to get it down. And congrats to Laura on that. And then the final one we wanted to talk about is the Skool Games Q1 is coming to an end. So here we go. The first Skool Games Q1 ends March 28th, which is like next Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific. And if you haven't checked out the leaderboards, just click on the games tab at the top. And these people, the top 5 in each category, are winning an all expenses paid trip to LA. They're going to get to visit the Skool HQ, mastermind with Hormozi. And they're going to get a Skool Games trophy. And I'm sure you've seen some posts and photos of people receiving those awards. They're pretty badass awards. And you get all of that when you win. So yeah, that's all I had to say. Kirby or Hormozi, you can chime in on anything if you want.
I think these are sick. That's basic. I mean, I think the onboarding stuff is unreal. I think you guys saw those stats, 8x and 6x increases in M12 retention. Like, fundamentally, I think getting into a community is a lot like a YouTube video. And hear me out. What I mean by that is that, like, you'll lose the vast majority of your traffic in the first 30 seconds of a video. And so I think to the same degree, you lose the vast majority of the people who are joining your community literally within the first day, right? It's just like, how was that first impression? What decision did they immediately make? And if you think about how you checked something out, it's like you click in, you poke around, and if you don't like immediately get rewarded for doing that, you're just like, whatever. And then that's it. And so it's like, this helps you get them in faster and just kind of lubricates the process. And I think it's gonna make a huge difference for churn. Like, I'm very curious to see what platform-wide churn is for everybody who's turning this on over the next like 60 days. Like, if we just see a platform-wide reduction in churn, I wouldn't be surprised by that. The nice piece with 10K price limits, just as a side note for those of you who sell higher ticket stuff, is that's about as high as you can reasonably make it anyways. And so for anybody who's like, man, why isn't it 100? It's like, you can't, like, you run into such big credit card processing issues. Like, even if you did have the price higher, you'd miss 2 out of 3 transactions anyways. And so 10, I think, is basically the realistic limit that you can kind of charge on a checkout page anyways, for the vast majority of things. And mind you, this is for recurring. So if you charge $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, you're good, right? So I bring this up just because I think it's an important point. I do think that for many of you, this unlocks a lot of like 10K annual stuff, which I think is really cool for a lot of communities who are at like $500 a month, $800 a month, $1,000 a month. It's like, you can just charge the 10K and have the annual. And I think that's going to be a really banger option for a lot of people. Beyond that, I mean, the rest of the stuff is banger. I think the pinned comments piece that Sam highlighted, I would be really strategic about that. And if you want to give yourself like a daily to-do list, I think just pinning a new comment every day, because I think we brought this up before, but one of the biggest correlations with M12 retention by group is the activity of the person who owns the group. So like, the more in your community you are, the more other people will be in that community as well, right? And I think demonstrating like you're paying attention and that you're pinning things on a regular basis gives people like more chances to win, if you think about it like that, and gives them more chances to level up. So I think I would strongly encourage you to use the pin comment feature on a regular basis. Like, said differently, I'd rather pin 7 comments in 7 days in terms of engaging the community than just once. Obviously, don't pin crap comments, but like, I would rather reward more people, because they'll remember that. Like, you'd be amazed how much power you have as the person who owns the community. Like, people don't get rewarded that often for doing things. And so like, it means a lot, especially because pinned comments are essentially like gifted status. And like, it means a lot. So I'm stoked about all this.
Yeah, on that topic, like I think some people think to engage with their community, they've got to post, and posting's the only thing to do. But I've been talking about this with Kirby a lot, and it's like, I do a lot more engaging in the comments and replies than I do posting. It's probably like 90-10, like 90% of my effort and time is spent in comments and replies and maybe DMs, and then 10% posting. And I think that most community engagement happens in the comments, right? It's a comment thing because that's where you're talking to people. But when you're posting, it's more just like broadcasting something. You're not necessarily talking to someone. And I will say that people notice when you like something of theirs, because I've liked people's stuff and then they screenshot it and put it on social media and tag me in it. And I'm like, oh, whoa, this person's day changed because I just clicked like on their thing. Whereas if I just did a post, that doesn't impact them so much, right? But I think pinning someone's comment or post, that's, even bigger, right? Like, that really makes someone's day. So really, I think as a community owner, you should think more about engaging with people in the comments, replies, liking things, and pinning things. Oh, you go.
I was just saying, I want to highlight what Patrice said. I want to pin her comment, which is that basically comments are the group chat. You know what I mean? Like, that's where basically the threads of an idea happen underneath of the posts. Like, that's where the action is. And so I would say encourage people in the community to engage in comments. And I think if you have I know this sounds silly, but like, I think if you have a culture of liking and commenting back within a community, then more people will, like, if they see you commenting and liking stuff, then they will comment and like stuff. Like, what people learn in 2 ways. They learn from modeling, right? And then actually doing it themselves and getting feedback. Like, humans learn a lot by modeling. And so if you want, like, the best way to train your community to do something is to do it yourself.
Yep.
Only thing I'd add to this is, if you thought Laura's churn is good, you haven't yet seen Liam's churn. 0.6%. That's nothing compared to 99.83%. Look at that churn. Liam has completed Skool. I thought this post was so funny.
I haven't seen worse than that.
Jeez.
Cool. Well, that's the Skool news. Hope you like it. See you next week.